Good morning, and welcome to yet another First Five. I'm Pastor Chase, and this week we're talking about service. And as you read about service, there's a lot of passages in the Bible that don't make all of the sense to us because of the culture we live in. And there's a lot of ways that Scripture requires full knowledge of everything that goes on in the Hebrew story to fully understand what certain people are talking about. In this case, I'm talking about the Apostle Paul writing to the church in Corinth. In 1 Corinthians chapter 9, Paul says something that to us sounds maybe a little bit wrong, maybe a little politically incorrect, and maybe impossible. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 19, it says, "Although I am free from all and not anyone's slave, I have made myself a slave to everyone in order to win more people." There's a couple things about this that don't make sense because of the world many of us have grown up in. We understand the first part, although I am free from all, not anyone's slave. That's the reality that pretty much all of us have always known. Those of us who are living in 21st century America probably know this reality, that I am free and not anyone's slave. And it says, but I've made myself a slave to everyone in order to win more people. Who would make themselves a slave, and why would you do that? In order to understand that, you have to understand a little bit of Hebrew culture, the culture of the Jewish people. And so you have to look into the book of Exodus, chapter 21. Which is a section about slave laws, about laws concerning slavery. So in Exodus chapter 21, verse 2, it says, "When you buy a Hebrew slave, he is to serve for 6 years. Then in the 7th, he is to leave as a free man without paying anything." This is already a little different than the slavery that you would think of in 21st century America. Our most recent slave knowledge didn't have an end date. You didn't get to walk away free. You were forced into labor. This is describing something different. This is saying you can buy a slave, but after 6 years, in the 7th, he's a free man. So it's already a little different. But if you go on to verse 5, it says this, "But if the slave declares, 'I love my master, my wife, and my children, I do not want to leave as a free man,' his master is to bring him to the judges and then bring him to the door or doorpost. His master will pierce his ear with an awl, and he will serve his master for life." This isn't slavery as we understand it. We have to understand slavery this way in order to understand really what Paul is asking us to do. The key here is that the slave declares, "I love my master and I choose to serve him." So, if you understand that slavery can be a choice based on who you love, you can go back to 1 Corinthians and read 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 19, where Paul says, "Although I am free from all and not anyone's slave, I have made myself a slave to everyone in order to win more people." You make yourself a slave to those you love. Christian service is about looking at those we love and saying, "I'm choosing your needs over mine. I dedicate my life to you. I dedicate my life to looking to find how I can help you." When we decide to truly follow Jesus, we're called to do some hard things and make some difficult decisions. One of them is to choose other people's needs over our own freedom. You're free to make whatever decision you want. But if you truly love God and you love people like he commands you to do and he calls you to do, you'll see this verse in 1 Corinthians, these words of Paul, as a very real call to go after those you love and say, "I want to fulfill your needs because your needs are greater than mine, because I truly love you." So as you fulfill your call to love others with all your heart. Remember what you're saying. Because you're choosing to love people, you're choosing to serve them as you serve God. And look to treat every person like they're the image of God and to serve them with all your heart. I hope that this view of love challenges you today. Have a good day.